Melissa, we've got something new. Tell everyone.
Yes. Okay. We have a brand new segment. So excited about because guess what, guys? We got mail. We've actually gotten mail.
We got mail.
So we are going to start a new advice segment called Dear Melissa and Jenn. It's basically your audio advice column. So we encourage you to reach out to us if you have a question, Melissa at thefriendzy.com or Jenn at thefriendzy.com. I have not seen this email yet, so I am very excited.
Yes, this came into the Friendzy inbox, and this is from one of our friends who gets our emails. So if you sign up at thefriendzy.com, you'll get our emails. It's one a week. I promise you, we do not bug you and like pepper you with all kinds of junk. We just send you the episode. And then in that email was our emails. So that's where this one came from. Okay. Hey, Melissa and Jenn, I'm loving the podcast, especially the recent episode with the chef Virginia. I'm going through something and wanted your advice since you're both not too close to the situation.
Okay.
We have some dear friends getting divorced. They have been married over 20 years and it's coming as a shock. They are some of our closest friends, family vacations, kids are friends, etc. Here's the question. Is there any advice you have on navigating this mess so that my husband and I can stay friends with both of them? Or do you always end up picking a side? We don't know much about the split, except that she said he wanted to divorce more than she did. I'm upset, but wanting to remain neutral. I would love to hear your advice. Sincerely, Nora P. I'll go with Nora P.
Yeah, Nora, thank you so much for the email. You're our first emailer. Gosh, where do I begin? No, but
you and I have both been through big splits.
Yes, I've never been married because I couldn't get married at the time Katie and I were together because it wasn't legal yet. But yes, we had a split, and Jenn's been in that situation, and Jenn's had a split, and I've been in that situation. We've been on both sides of it. I just think it's easier to remember who brought you to the party. That's my advice. I mean, there's so much we could talk about. I will say from the relationship standpoint that when you're going through a breakup, like Katie and I were together for 9 years, but I think the last 3 years were bad. So it wasn't a immediate breakup. It was a road that we took for granted in the beginning, and then once we realized something was wrong, it was too late. And I keep bringing up Katie. I mean, Katie's moved. I mean, Katie's in a long-term relationship now. So I I have not entered another, and that's not been purposeful. It's just happened. I think mainly because I focused on my son, and then the pandemic happened. But, yeah, I think that, I was just addressing what she said about it's a shock and I don't know what happened. Well, what happened was they just don't work anymore. And
right. And sometimes couples, and I think you all did this too, keep it pretty well secret when things aren't going well. So on the outside, it seems like everything is fine. And it does come as a shock to your friends.
The last thing you put on even a better face because you don't want to deal with the public while you're dealing with the private. I didn't come out that Katie and I broke up until we were broken up for 6 months on the radio. Like I still talked about her on the radio like we were together. But yeah, I think that, so anyway, they've had problems for a long time and it's nobody's fault. I do think that, with Katie and I, she had to pull the trigger of the end, which allowed me to indulge in that and then just make her, the villain. But in all honesty, it was both of us. Both of us were unhappy and somebody has. So in that case, it sounds like the husband had to be the one because nobody wants to be the bad guy. But somebody's got to be the bad guy when the relationship's ending. And so
now, was there someone who was a friend of yours who navigated it well and someone who did not navigate your split well? Like examples of it, because I've definitely got examples from in my life.
Well, because I don't remember.
Because maybe your friends were more separate, where like picking sides was.
Well, everybody was. It was hard because
it
was hard. We weren't together. We were together 9 years, not 20 something. But even the friendships we had, I think for everybody, it's like, well, we liked you together, and I still get
your lives are so blended and close.
Yes, I still get that. I still get people who say, "I loved y'all together better than not," but but that's life.
Yep.
Yes, but I think I want to hear your examples. I'll finish out by just reiterating that I think the best thing you could do to limit the feeling of betrayal and awkwardness is to leave the party with who you went to the party with. Whoever you were friends with first is who you stay the closest with, and allow them. Like Jenn in this case came to the party with me and had a really hard time when Katie and I broke up. Um, and I did not have a problem her staying friends with Katie. I'm older. I'm not the one, you can't be with friends with her. But I did need somebody to vent about Katie to, just
Mhm.
as Katie had to have people to vent about me to. And so I think that that's why you do that, is because you have to allow the person to hurt and purge and hate the person for a minute. You've got to get through that. There's a
Yeah.
moment where they're going to hate them, and then they'll come back.
And
Then all that'll
time is a great healer. It
absolutely. Anyway,
really is. It
so yeah.
really is. And I think from my perspective, so I was married young and with that person for 12 years total. Only
Mhm.
married less than 5 years of that. But our lives were very intertwined, and some of our friends, it sounds like, or similar in Nora's situation. Now, I didn't have children then, so that's definitely different. But, you know, close friends with a lot of other couples, lots of vacation travel where your lives feel very intertwined. And I would say the people who navigated our divorce best were the ones who stayed out of it.
Mm.
So stay out of it. Like, if you need to listen to the wife complain, listen, comfort, but don't add fuel to the fire.
Right, yes, and Jenn did
Right?
not do that. Yeah, so Jenn
It's like there's
yeah,
already enough fire there.
yeah.
This house is burning down. You do not need to throw gasoline on it. And I think that if you can just be a listener and a helper and a coach and a comfort, that's the best place to be for both of them. And maybe you're closer with the husband, same type of thing. Comfort, friendship, maybe offer a distraction. Maybe be like, "Hey, let's go to a movie or let's go
Right.
do something else to take their mind off of it." But don't add fuel to the fire. Well, I heard that he said whatever. And did you
Yes.
see that she was posting with this new
No.
person on Facebook? And, because to me, the people who got involved in the split did nothing but ruin their friendships, not only with the person they were siding with, but
Mhm.
also with the other person.
Right.
Because
Did Nora say if this couple had kids or not?
yeah,
As you
she said
mentioned.
their
Oh.
kids are friends,
Oh,
is what
okay.
it says.
Alright, so Nora, let me add to that, not to interrupt you, Jen, but I wanna
Mhm.
just reiterate exactly what you said. Even if the person is doing that, even if the person's saying, "Did you see them on Facebook?" Don't indulge in what they're doing, because 'cause they're just processing, they're purging and processing. And Katie and I, from the start, um, knew, because we had a child, that we had to get back into a space where we could be friends. And we were dedicated to doing that. But the first year was hard. First year, we fought. We couldn't stand to see each other. We got to the point where we just dropped our son off at her mother's house and picked him up from her mother's house so we didn't have to see each other. Um, Everything she told me that they were doing pissed me off. Everything that I was doing with them, I'm sure she felt, frustrated by, because you feel judgy of the other, right? And so that's the other thing. I want to reiterate what Jen is saying. Be a friend, because these people have to be friends again to raise their children. And so, but they're not going to be friends at first. It took us a
Right.
year, and we were only together nine years. So
Yeah, and Nora
don't
did not
yes,
say, like, how old the kids are, but
I
this
don't think it
couple's been
matters.
married over 20 years.
I don't think it matters how old the kid is, because I
Mhm.
think that divorce affects all family members the same. It's going to be weird to see their parents with other people. The one beauty of our situation is we broke up when Mr. Carter was a baby, which was tragic at the time. But to me, the payoff was that he doesn't remember us together. I'll say something to him about,
Mhm.
oh, back when your mommy and I lived together. And he goes, y'all live together. So I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
he's not mourning anything.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a balance in that. But if you grew up with these people and then now you have to see mom date another guy or dad with another woman, I mean, that's the responsibility is on them to work this out. Anyway, I know we're going on and on about it, Nora. Thank you. I mean, our first email, I could talk all day about it, but
no, I get it. I think that your first bit of advice of leave the party with the person you came to it with. I love that. And then my advice is, as much as possible, stay out of the drama. Be a friend, stay out of the nitty gritty.
Yeah. I absolutely
try to be a distraction for your friend and a sounding board and a listening place, but not someone who, gets the team riled up.
And I got to give Katie's girlfriend a nickname. Because I really love her. I mean, she's fantastic. And so I don't talk about her enough, but I think that you also have to respect them. Like, I respect her. And so, that's hard.
That's fast forward.
I know, but I was just
years down the road to be
well, no,
but there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to plant the seeds now for that, right? So, like I said, when
because they will move on.
Because because like I said, I have friends who still say I like y'all better together than apart, and I mentioned that, but you don't want to say that too much because you're disrespecting the new relationships that you got to look forward and not look back, right? And so, yes, I will ask her what nickname she wants, because she has to be part of the conversations, because she's a integral part of my son's life, but see, that took a long time, and she's not the first girlfriend to come along, so it helped that I was a total bitch to the people before her, so she gets to benefit from
the rebound buffer that got all the angst, and now she's like, "Oh, see, I came way after all that."
I still can't say that woman's name, but anyway,
don't.
Thank you, Nora, for the email.
Yes, thank you so much. And if you want to reach out to us, we would love to be able to help you along. That's what friends do, right? So email us, Melissa@thefriendzy.com, or Jenn with 2 N's, Jenn @thefriendzy.com.